Hi, and it's Jake Lorraine, Bob Ross. Thank you for picking this up. It is part 4 of the 9 by 12 Mastery series, and this one is on design. This one took a long time to make. I started making I started making or wanting to make something like this like years ago. I mean, I've meant for a really long time to make a course on how to design 9 by 12 ads so that you don't have to use a designer. The problem is it starts to get really complicated and really complex. Your design it's a skill. It's an acquired skill. It's very difficult, if not impossible, to teach someone how to do it overnight. So any kind of shortcuts and stuff are they don't really get the job done, especially when you're talking 16 ads, 14 ads. Like to teach you how to design a dozen or more ads from scratch, custom ads is just it's way too much. You'll never actually get to doing it. Plus, you have the expensive tools like Photoshop and InDesign and all these different tools that it just makes sense to use a designer. So for the past decade that people have been doing 9 by 12s, I've always suggested just hire a designer. It's cheaper to just hire someone who has the skill rather than teach you how to do it. That changed when a few years ago I made a template package with Scott Meisner. We put together the 9 by 12 ad pack using a more templated ad fashion where you could download the templates and adjust them to however you want. It kind of give you a starting point. The problem with that is that you still have to learn how to use Photoshop or InDesign. You still have to download these things and subscribe to these programs and know your way around them and how to edit them. And it still just makes it frustrating to figure that out. And it still often requires you to just hire a designer. Never really got over that little road bump. But today, you're going to go through this course and you are going to learn how to make, you're going to fall in love with this. You're going to learn how to make absolutely beautiful cards really fast, like incredibly fast, and zero design experience. You don't need any design experience, but you're going to make your own cards. You're going to make just these cards are going to look beautiful. They're going to be so fast. You're not going to have any of the lengthy time it takes to make ads. That's all going to be gone. It's going to be so fast. I don't care. I just worked on a project with a guy, a really big design project. It was a calendar, and he's 74 years old, has never used, he was trying to make something in PowerPoint. We were working on a project together for our village community for a calendar. And I showed him how to do it this way, and we made an absolutely beautiful calendar together. If a 75-year-old guy, I don't know, 73, something like that, can do this, you can. I promise you. You are going to be so amazed at how this works. This may be the best thing you've ever bought on 9 by 12 ever, just because of how much it's going to empower you. And this course, this little section on design is going to be very light on teaching. This is not going to be, why I never released anything on this is because I didn't want to make this super complex thing that there's a million different places you can go to learn design, but you shouldn't have to learn how to be a graphic designer just to make some ads. So we're going to bypass all that, and it's going to be about empowering you on how to just kind of almost snap your fingers, literally make a couple clicks and have absolutely beautiful cards, beautiful ads. It's going to cut your stress way down. You're not going to be dealing with the back and forth that it normally takes between a designer, between a client. All that's going to be eliminated. Your ads are going to be just pretty much done almost as soon as you sell them. It just cuts it down so much. Your stress level will go way down. Plus, it's going to save you money by not having to hire a designer, which can run. I mean, it's going to cost regular 9 by 12 card is going to cost you roughly $500 to hire a designer to make all these ads, do the layout and all that. So you're saving yourself money there. It's totally well worth it. And being honest with you, I have to admit that I think we've all downplayed how challenging the design part of a 9 by 12 card is. It's kind of like this hurdle that we downplay. It's like, just get a designer, it's alleviate the stress and just get a designer to do it, which is fine. That's the way we've all been doing it for 10 years. But really, if you can eliminate that designer, and I love our designers, and I'm sure And I'm going to recommend some. We've been working with them a long time. Many of them are other students. They're going to be reading this. They're going to love this course too. But you can still use designers in different ways, or you can still do a 9x12 the traditional way. But this is going to eliminate this huge hurdle that so many of you have either just not gotten your 9x12s off the ground, or you've had such a long process getting them completed because of the back and forth talking with clients. Just the logistics of working with a designer, a client, and trying to be the middle person between those two and communicating back and forth and revisions, and then finally collecting payment and just getting hold of people and getting the artworks and the proofs and the final layouts, and the designer goes on vacation and the client goes on vacation and no one's talking and it holds up the card. Those of you that have put out many 9x12s have experienced this. One advertiser hanging up your card can hang up the whole card. Like, if you can't get one ad approved, he or she can hang up the whole card, like prevent it from going out, and everyone else is late because one person you can't get a hold of to approve their ad. This is going to solve all that. So it's going to be a very empowering course. Let's get to it. Let's go to talk about templated ads.